Hey folks, Adam here from World's Greatest Adventures, and you know I travel all around the world and I've been taking notes every time there's a scam by the airline industry that affects you and me. So let's go ahead and check them out. Go ahead and leave a comment if you know some that I missed, or if you would disagree with what I think is a scam. We can't wait to get started. Now we're going to talk about price gouging on things like water and snacks. We're going to talk about fake shortages that the airlines seem to have. We'll talk about the CARES Act that's putting $100 billion in the pockets of the airlines, parking fees, how they use cookies to track your searches and how you can avoid them. We're going to talk about the options for booking all those hidden fees. We're going to talk about taxi cabs, cargo charges, the Essential Air Service program, and additional fees that we can't wait to tell you about. And hopefully you can avoid some of these, or at least if we get our word out there, maybe we can start some legislation to end some of these scams. All right, let's go ahead and check it out and kick it off right about now. Now, first and foremost, this is a very simple one that bothers me every time. It's the price gouging, particularly when it comes to water. All right, so say you're gonna be at the airport for 12 hours today. Okay, so when you're gone for 12 hours, you're probably going to need a drink, and the airlines know that. But they decided to say that liquids will inevitably be explosive. You can't bring liquids through the security line. That's a scam, first and foremost. Like, they can't figure out something that can tell if you have a water bottle. And if they can't, why are they price gouging you on the other end? The terminal is inevitably owned by the airline, and they're charging as much as $8 a bottle for that water they wouldn't let you bring in. My 2 cents is if they're saying you can't bring your own water, then they can't price gouge you to buy their water. You need water, they should charge a reasonable amount. Bottle of water shouldn't be much more than $1.50. Period. Dot. That's what you're gonna pay at a gas station. Why are they charging $8 a bottle? Because you're a captive audience and you're gonna be sitting in the airport for as much as 24 hours on some long haul flights. They know that you're going to need a drink, whether that's a soda, some liquor, water, whatever it may be. It should be illegal for them to price gouge you on something they're saying you can't bring through their security and you ultimately need. So that's the first scam, is price gouging on water. Second, I'm going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. You know, I like to fly first class whenever I can. And sometimes it's not reasonable, but I like to fly first class. But they've gone ahead and limited down the number of seats that are available in first class. So if you think about it, your average first class flight fare is $800 to $1,000. For math, we'll just say $1,000. Now the seat takes up 1.5 times as much space. Now for that 1.5 times as much space, they're charging you on average about 5 times as much for that space. That doesn't make sense. It should cost 1.5 times as much. If a normal seat is $200, they should charge $300 for a larger seat. But they don't. They charge you $800, $1,000. Why? Because they've limited how many of these seats for bigger people, for people that maybe just want a little bit more to be comfortable because they have mobility issues, whatever it may be, or they want to treat themselves. They know if they limit those number of seats, they can essentially price gouge for the upgrade. On top of that, a lot of times first class, it's not just a status thing, it's like you're paying for them not to be mean to you. If you sit in the back, it's like you get 10 seconds to get up and go to the bathroom. Everybody's sharing one bathroom, they're not nice to you, they don't give you snacks, etc., etc. You don't get a meal, you don't get this, you have to sit through a longer security line. They're price gouging you to just be treated like a human with a regular size seat. A seat that's smaller than the one I'm sitting on right now, to use for an hour, they're going to charge you $1,000. And that is definitely price gouging, that they've limited the supply of the first class seats so they can up the price to make it a competition to get those first class seats. And they know they can get away with it because you don't have many other options. Now, the thing I don't like about this is that we're already subsidizing the airline industry. I'm going to read this verbatim so you know how much we're paying. This is right from the CARES Act. Under the CARES Act, the Consolidated Appropriations Act, and the American Rescue Plan Act, the government paid $54 billion to passenger airlines, $4 billion to cargo airlines, and $5 billion to aviation contractors. So, In addition, under the Payroll Support Program, the PSP, the Treasury Department awarded $59 billion. That's 54 plus 4 plus 9 plus 59 billion in 3 rounds of financial assistance to the domestic aviation industry to continue payment, wages, salaries, and benefits. So for all intents and purposes, despite the fact that these airlines are constantly price gouging us, constantly overcharging us, they're funded by your tax dollars. You're literally keeping them in business. And my 2 cents, let some of them fail, make it illegal for them to price gouge, and you know what? We will have a better industry if capitalism just allows you to have fair market with several airlines. That's the bottom line of it. If we're giving over $100 billion for these places to be in business, well, maybe they should give us reasonable prices on tickets and not constantly price gouge us. Another thing that they do, airports are for profit, and one of the things, the average one day's parking at an airport is now $38 a day on average. That's absolutely ridiculous. To park your car, if you're going for 10 days, it's almost $400, $380. Again, that is just an attempt to price gouge you and add in additional unnecessary fees. A lot of times these airports are taking basically public lands, converting it over, and then charging you an exorbitant amount of money to just park your car there, they should give you a flat price, what the price of the ticket is, and don't gouge me and nickel and dime me on everything. So that's a scam in my book. And again, if you don't think it's a scam, go ahead and leave us a comment below. I would love to hear from you, but I do think that the overinflated parking prices, no place else in the United States charges almost $40 a day for parking, except airlines, maybe cruise ships. It's ridiculous and it's a scam. The other thing a lot of people don't know they're being scammed, and I feel like this should be illegal, is when you go to a website, say you go to united.com, they have tracking cookies to know, okay, you looked and you said you wanted to go from Detroit to New York. So next time you go to that same website, they're going to up the price. If it was $300 for that flight, the next time you look, it'll be $310 or $320. The next time, it'll be $330 or $340 because they're tracking every time you go to that website. Why do they do that? Because they want you to think that there's a scarcity of that ticket, even if there's no such thing. They're gonna actually show that the plane is more full than it is. There's only 3 seats left at that price. BS. They're lying to us, and they're playing on our, oh no, there's a limit of how much availability there is on this plane. They're increasing the prices as the date gets closer for no reason other than their own benefit. And it's ultimately a scam, okay? If they see you going and looking, they're gonna constantly raise the price. You only got 20 more minutes at this price. You only got 30 more minutes, whatever it is. Again, it's a scam by the airline industry, an industry that we're propping up with our tax dollars is using the fact that we are, oh, I might go there. They're using it against us by constantly raising the price based on our interest level. I think that's a scam. They're using your own cookies against you, and I feel like that should be illegal. It's certainly questionable at best. Let's talk about those add-ons. Yesterday, in preparation to make this video, I went to Spirit Airlines. I went ahead and I went to book a ticket. The basic ticket was about $200. Boom. Okay? Now they want me to add in my credit card. Once you add in your credit card, pay your $200. Then they say, hey, you've locked in your ticket, great. Also, just so you know, your ticket didn't include luggage. It didn't include a carry-on. It didn't include selecting your seat. It didn't include a meal. It didn't include A, B, and C. So, for all intents and purposes, once they've locked you in at $200, the price can conflate to about $580 with all the little add-ons. They'll even offer to bundle them together. What's immoral about that is they don't tell you in advance what you're not getting. And some of the things are ridiculous. Oh, did you want a little more legroom? $25. Did you not want to sit in the back? $25. Literally one of the options, do you not want to sit in the center seat by yourself in the back? You want an aisle? Extra $25. Want a window? Extra $25. It's almost like they're saying, would you like a seat belt? Did you want to get there on time? The other thing's a scam about this is they reserve the right that once you've paid to move you around. With Southwest recently, I had a 5-hour flight that would go from Tampa to Cancun. In advance, they rerouted it, said they were no longer offering that, and they rerouted me through Phoenix, 13 hours. I paid for the shorter flight, I booked the flight, I booked with Southwest. Then they came back and said, yeah, we know you paid extra to get the short flight and that you got the time you wanted. We decided we're not gonna offer that. So we booked you a 13-hour flight from Tampa to Phoenix to Cancun. That's a long way out of your way. So you actually have to call and argue and try to get on a different flight or cancel, and they will let you cancel, but if you don't do anything, they secretly change that behind your back, and I think that's a scam. All right, so where else are they scamming you? On cabs. Yeah, they're scamming you on cabs. Think about this, folks. Not only are they scamming you everywhere else, for the cab to come in, they will charge the cab company $5 to $20 to come in. And then sometimes if you're doing a cheaper service like Uber, they'll put that way off to where it's inconvenient for you. They'll put that way off in the corner. You have to almost leave the entire airport. So they're charging you just to be picked up by another service for the right for the cab to come onto their property to pick you up on a road that you're probably taxed for the road anyway. It's a scam. There's also, on average, $40 to $50 every time you land at an airport. There's a tax, $40 to $50 just for getting there. And that tax isn't a government tax, that just goes to the airlines, which go help and maintain the airport. So it's not technically, it's a fee, okay? There's a landing fee. There's fees and taxes that get added on that just go back to the airport. So it's not like the government's taxing you. It's the airline industry is taxing you for the ticket that you bought. Now's a good time to remind you to go ahead and click like and subscribe, and go ahead and let us know if you agree with some of these, if you disagree, and what we can do to fix this. Now, one of the other big scams out there, $32 million a year. In fact, $3 billion a year. USPS funds the airline industry in excess of $3 billion a year for cargo fees. Of that $3 billion, 32 get paid to airlines, 32 million get paid to airlines, never gets used because of mismanagement by USPS. Now, USPS is partially funded by the government. Everything out of there is coming out of your pocket. And $32 million every year is just being handed to the airlines in wasted cargo fees that never even get used. So, again, this money is coming out of your pocket. Should be maybe bringing down the prices of tickets, but instead it's just going to corporate CEOs and bigwigs to pad their bonuses. Airline CEOs making billions off of scamming you, and I don't like that. The Essential Air Service Program, that's the United States government, has a program that says, you know what, small airports, we want them. So they give $250 million a year to subsidize smaller airports. Again, your tax dollars funding a government or a private entity, and all that money is just going, a lot of that money is just going into the pockets of CEOs, and I think that's a scam. Now, next is a smaller level scam. Airlines are charging up to $35, that's American Airlines prices, $35 for Wi-Fi on a plane. They're price gouging. There's no way that that should be more than $8 or $10, but $35 per flight. Now think about that, 1 million people wanting to fly, $35 million, just wasted fees. They should be offering Wi-Fi, or at least not price gouging. They know you're a captive audience, they know you're stuck on the plane, and they're price gouging on Wi-Fi, they're price gouging for drinks and food. Everything on that plane is going to be an exorbitant fee if you want it. And why do they do that? Because you're a captive audience. I also personally don't like the bathroom scam. A lot of times flight attendants or the pilot don't want people up and down, so they'll leave that seatbelt sign on for way too long, only turning it off for a few minutes, saying there could be turbulence, then forgetting about you. So you're sitting there for a 2-3 hour flight and you get 5 to 10 minutes work. 200 people have to get up and go to the bathroom. Again, it's a scam. They don't want to have to clean the bathrooms. They don't want to have to be nice. They don't want to take care of you. And don't get me started on Clear and the TSA pre-check. Did you know that Clear, which allows you to skip the line by paying extra, was started by a hedge fund manager? I mean, that's not a scam, but we'll get into that later. Folks, go ahead and leave your comments. What other scams have you seen in airports? The taxi services, the airport hotels, The fact that the airlines own the entire terminal so they can essentially set the price on food and raise that price up. There are actually some states that have laws against price gouging in an airport. Should we have more laws against price gouging? There are some states that will say whatever your average price is off the airport has to maintain in the airport. Boy, that would be smart. All right, folks, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Enjoy all of our travel channels. Amy and I are traveling the world. Next month, we're going to Japan, we're going to Singapore, and we're going to Thailand, among other locations. So go check it out. And we're going to Vegas here very soon. So check out some of your upcoming videos. Thank you for joining us. Hope I didn't bother you too much by venting about the scams of the airline industry, but it's a very important topic to me, and it should be an important topic to you. All right, thanks for watching, and adios, amigos.